So last day we have basically discussed about the dynamic branch prediction, and we have seen that there are two different ways by which we can uh, discuss two different situations in dynamic branch prediction. One using entry control loop and another using exit control loop. And we have seen that if I give a responsibility to a hardware to decide which prediction to take in at which point of time, I mean in which type of code, basically a hardware can simply check the address of the branch target and the address of the branch instruction. If it is, I mean, if the branch target address is lesser than the branch instruction address, then it's basically better to predict the branch will be taken. But in case of the opposite one, if the branch target address is greater than branch instruction address, it is better to predict branch will be not taken. And accordingly, the hardware, decide and work for the branch instruction, especially for in case of loop. Now, you see, uh, after this, we have seen in case of dynamic branch prediction that we want to decide dynamically that whether the branch will be taken or not, and that is why we explained the process of dynamically deciding branch prediction using a two-state diagram. One, I mean, considering two state of mind, one is saying branch will be taken and one is saying branch will be not taken, and depends on that, uh, you know we will change our state of mind based on the branch is taken or not. Now I told you that this two state diagram is not actually give you a full support of dynamic branch prediction for some complex issues. What does it mean? If you think, for example, the last case like this entry control loop, then this particular two-state diagram is enough. But if I make the program a little bit complex, for example, if I introduce a nested loop, for example, let's write a code and then we will realize what to do. So suppose the code is something like, let's write a nested loop with respect to exit control loop. So I'm just writing a very simple code without considering what is the goal. So suppose k is equal to 10, I equal to 5. So these are two basically variables representing the loop variable for the nested loops, and I will start from here, do, and here I will take j equal to 5, okay, and then sum equal to 0, and then I will write another nested loop, I mean a loop within this one, forming a nested loop where I'm writing sum equal to sum plus j and j minus minus, and this loop will break here, and after this I will be decremented by 1. So I is basically holding the you can say the loop variable for the outer loop, and within here while I not equal to 0, here also I have to write while j not equal to 0. And then here I will write, suppose another statement I have given, sum equal to sum plus k. So now if we write the corresponding machine level code for this program as we have written last time. You see, by the way, the code that I will write today, I'm not going to explain because the idea of writing the corresponding machine level code already is explained in the previous class. So if you have any doubt, you can go back to that previous video and you can check that. Anyway, so if we write the corresponding code for this situation, I can write I'm assuming that before that, let me write one thing. I'm assuming that I is register B. Sum obviously should be accumulator. J I have considered as register C is mapped with register C. K is mapped with register D. And according to that, I will write the code. So the code can be something like move D, 0 AH, right, and then move B 05H. Then move C. So it's all about part of the initialization. Move C 05H. I'm sorry, I had a mistake. Even in the last class also. The actual code is not move. The actual code is what we call MVI. Okay. Move immediate. Move MVI C, 05. Then MVI A, 00. A, 00H. It's about initialization the sum. Because I have already told you that this 2 bracket doesn't have any significance in the high level language. Sorry, in the assembly level language. So all this will be eliminated. That means K equal to 10, then I equal to 5, then this J equal to 5, then sum equal to 0. All this will be executed, and you know this bracket is not possible to write directly in this way, but we can represent this one repetition of this statement to come in this J equal to 5. We can represent this with the jump instruction. Anyway, so what I can write now, sum equal to sum plus J, so it will be add C, and then naturally J minus minus, that means DCRC, and then I can write JNZ. The idea of the JNZ instruction I have already told in the previous class, and then I have to write some address of what I will think about later. After doing this, there is I minus minus, that means B minus minus, I means B. So basically I will write DCRB, and then I will have again a JNZ because of this while loop. So I will have another JNZ. And then some address again. Now see, so let's write down the, what should be the address over here. You see, I want to go back after decrementing C with respect to this particular code. The inner loop is within this part, right? So inner loop means the set of statements that will run say some amount of time is sum equal to sum plus j and j minus minus. That means after decrementing j minus minus, if j is not 0, then sum equal to sum plus j should re-execute. That means this add c and dcrc, this should be within the loop. That means if not 0, then add c will execute. So the address of add c will come. So suppose address of add c I have written as x. Okay, so this is their address. Right. And after this, I'll have you see another jump statement is present. So I have to write another jump statement here. That is, after I minus minus, if I is not 0, then I will go back and I will execute j equal to 5 again. So this is this set of statements should be in the loop of I. So basically, if I is not 0, then j equal to 5 will, j will be reinitialized by 5 again and so on. So j equal to 5, that means C. So MVI C05. This is the first statement of the outer loop. So that means if this is not 0, the B is not 0, then I should jump for executing MVI C05. That means, suppose I will write start. I'm writing in 4 just because of I'm considering I have a 4-bit hexadecimal address in my system, and that's why. So it will come here. Right. Now we all know that this is a exit control loop. Exit control loop mean it looks something like this. So naturally branch target address will be lesser than branch instruction address, right? For example, here you see the branch target address is this one and branch instruction address is this one. Obviously this branch target address is lesser than branch instruction address, so I know that branch target 1 is lesser than branch instruction 1. Now branch target 2 is lesser than branch instruction 2. And you see, since this is lesser than, so what we have seen in the last class, that it's better to predict branch will be taken. That means if I consider my dynamic branch prediction approach for solving this issue, obviously I will start from branch will be taken, right? Likely to be taken. Now you see the code will execute and here it will keep on executing n times, and in -1 times actually the prediction is correct, branch will be taken is correct. So I will in -1 time I will remain in this state LT because branch is taking, and the last time when the loop will break, the branch will not take and DCRB will execute. As soon as branch will be not taken, what will happen? My state of mind will change from LT to LNT. So right now I am in state of mind that branch will be not taken. But you see, since this part was actually inner portion of our outer loop, inner loop has been completed, but outer loop is not completed. So that means after executing DCRB, when JNZ will execute, I need a branch. I need a branch to this MVI C05 statement. Now at this point of time, my state of mind is saying that likely not to be taken. So my prediction at that moment for the outer loop is branch will be not taken, which is false. and because of that, there will be some unwanted instruction entered in the pipelining, which I don't want. There will be some flushing required, and after that, branch will be taken. As soon as branch will be taken, obviously again my state of mind will change from likely not taken to likely taken. Fine. So again I will re-execute MPI 05, MPIS 00, and then other this set of code and start running the inner loop again many times with correct prediction, because right now I'm in likely taken state of mind. And you see, again after n-1 time correct prediction, last time when the inner loop will break again, my state of mind will change from likely taken to likely not taken, and as a result what I will see again, for the outer loop jump statement my prediction is wrong, again some stalling will happen and so on. So basically what we have seen, using this two-state diagram we are able to capture a correct prediction for a very simple problem having only one loop. But if the loop is become complex, maybe some nested is introduced, then it's pretty difficult to realize that what is the correct prediction. At least for the outer loop. For the inner loop it will work, but still for the outer loop it's not working. And that is the problem for which we will modify this two-state diagram with a four-state diagram, where we will introduce what we can assume something like a degree of belief, that how much belief we have in our state of mind that the branch will be taken. For example, that means I can say that I have basically, for every state of mind I am considering 2 degrees of belief, one strong and one light. Initially I had here only branch will be taken or not taken, but now we will consider 4 states: LT, ST, LNT, SNT. So I'm just writing them in a short way, that is, we can say that lightly taken, strongly taken, lightly not taken, strongly not taken. Now see, both of this is actually representing branch will be taken. And both of this, both of this will represent branch will not be taken. Just the difference is degree of belief, that how much belief you have in your state of mind that really the branch will be taken or not. Now, how we can manage these 4 states? Let's draw a very simple diagram. So let's take a scenario something like strongly not taken, one state, lightly taken, another state, lightly not taken, another state, and strongly taken. Next state. Now assume that we are considering BT and BNT, two different input. BT means branch taken, and this is branch not taken. So you see, when we start our code, for example this one, since we know that here branch target 1 is branch targets for both cases is lesser than branch instruction address, so it's very sure that branch will be, it's better to predict that branch will be taken, right? So now question is that if I consider branch will be taken and I have two different degree of belief, LT and ST, from where I will start? Always remember that we start from the lighter version of our state of mind, because at the very beginning it's not, there is no reason to strongly believe that branch will be taken or something like that. And obviously if I consider a different structure of coding with say entry control loop, obviously the degree, obviously the prediction will change. In that case we will start with prediction that branch will be not taken, and if the branch is not taken we predict that is two different ways, strongly not taken and lightly not taken, and we will consider with lightly not taken because there is no strong reason to believe that strongly not taken, because we have not yet started coding. But after that, if we see that my state of mind is considering that maybe branch will be taken in a lighter version of state of mind, and I find that I'm correct, my prediction is correct, then what will happen? I'll start believing strongly that maybe in future, definitely branch will be not taken, or maybe the other one. So since we have considered a do while loop over here, that is why it will be better if we start with this example and we'll see that what to do. You see that we will start believing here that branch will be taken, right? Branch will be taken because branch target addresses are lesser than branch instruction addresses. So initial state of mind will be likely taken. Branch taken, but I'm not in a full belief that branch will be surely taken. And what we will see that yes, branch is taken. So if the branch is taken, your state of mind will definitely move from light version to stronger version. So that means I'll have a change of state from from lightly taken to strongly taken if the branch is taken. And similarly, you can say that if you believe strongly that branch is surely taken, will be taken in future, and if you find that branch is not taken for a moment, then what will happen? You will not lose your hope forever. Your state of mind is not going to change immediately that branch will be not taken for the other cases. Your state of mind will change from strongly to a lighter version. So that means from here to here I can say From strongly taken state of mind, I will come to the likely taken state of mind if the branch is not taken at some point of time. And after that, if I see that branch is again not taken, then maybe I will change my state of mind. Yes, it happened actually 2 times. Already it happened 2 times. That branch is not taken in 2 times. So that means definitely branch will be not taken for future. So that's why I will start believing strongly that yes, branch will be surely not taken, strongly not taken for the other cases. Just assume you are in that place and what will happen in your mind. I hope you will really understand that what actually the meaning of this state diagram and how we are drawing this. Now see the exact opposite scenario anyway. So now in this strong state of mind, you see now you are started believing strongly that branch will be not taken. And you have seen branch is not taken again. So your strong belief will not change. You will remain in that state. So that means I will remain in this state if the branch is not taken. Now after some state of some branch is not taken happens, if I find that there is a situation where branch is now taken, what will happen? Just exact scenario will happen, the opposite to the scenario will happen what we have seen over here. That we strongly believe that branch will be not taken, but I have seen that branch is taken. So your hope will not forever change, but you will lose some strongly believed part to a lighter version. So your state of mind will change from strongly to lightly if the branch is taken. And definitely the opposite scenario can happen from lightly to strongly, because if you think that you are if you slightly believe that branch is not taken, and if you find really branch is not taken, so you will start believing strongly that branch will be not taken for the future. So your state of mind will change from lightly to strongly if the branch is not taken. Anyway, so after that let's come here again. So we strongly believe that branch is not taken, and suddenly I found that branch is taken. So I came in a lighter version. So I'm not sure that branch will be taken or not taken in future, but still I am believing branch will be not taken because it happened many times in previous cases because of the case history I have seen. And after coming here, you found that branch is taken again. So that means what you have seen? You have seen that you were here and your prediction was wrong because branch was taken. That's why you came here. And again you have seen that branch is taken. So again your prediction is wrong. That means 2 times already you were wrong. So definitely for the future cases there is a high chance that branch will be taken. That is why you will change your state of mind from lightly taken to lightly not taken to strongly taken if you find that branch is taken again. And if you are in a strong state of mind that branch will be taken, and if you find that branch is taking place, you will remain in the state of mind strongly taken because of branch is taken. So this is the explanation of this 4-state diagram by which we can dynamically decide in a coding, in a execution mode of a program, that what is better to predict at which point of time. For example, if we now try to realize that what will happen in this program using the 4-state diagram, then what I will see that I am right now, since we have seen that branch target address is lesser than the branch instruction address, that means surely it's better to predict branch will be taken. But I am in a lighter version. So right now I am in a LT state. This is my initial state of mind. And what I will see? I will see that obviously branch will be taking place n minus 1 times. So anyhow, after after branching the first time, let's see what will happen here. Branch is taken first time, so your state of mind will change from LT to ST, right? Because branch is taken place, and you will remain here for n minus 2 more time. If I assume that inner loop is executing n times, that means first time you have, because of your initial state of mind is this, for the first time branch taking place, your state of mind changes from LT to ST. And for the other n minus 2 cases, you are remaining in this ST. And last case, when you found that branch is not taken, the inner loop breaks, then what happened? Your strongly believed state of mind changes to a lighter version believed state of mind because the branch is not taken. And you see what will happen? Whatever, strongly or lightly doesn't matter. Again, I am saying that ultimately mean branch will be taken. So that means you are not strongly believing that branch will be taken, but still you are believing that somehow maybe most of the there is a high probability that branch will be taken. So right now prediction is branch will be taken. And you see, with respect to this code, after completion of the inner loop, you are in a state of mind LT. That means lighter version of state of mind for branch will be taken, and decrement B will execute. And when this jump statement will come, you are in a state of mind for predicting branch will be taken. So your prediction is correct. So with a two-state diagram that we have seen, that only because of these two states my prediction was becoming wrong for the outer loop. It's not going to happen for this case. So what will happen as a result? As a result, in both cases, my prediction is always correct. Maybe I am in a strongly state of mind or maybe in a lightly state of mind, but my prediction is always correct. And if my prediction is always correct, naturally the unwanted instruction will not enter in the pipelining, and there will be no stalling during the execution through the pipeline. And this is what my goal was. So we have just actually discussed a very simple example in a nested loop. It's not only for nested loop, it can be extended for many more complex program, where you will realize if you just write a little complex program and try to write a corresponding hexadecimal code, something like that, assembly level code, something like this, and if you just have this 4-state diagram in your hand, you will see that this 4-state diagram helps realizing that how correctly the system is predicting for most of the cases, and it's actually eliminating the unwanted instruction from the pipelining before it enters in the pipeline. So this is a explanation of a 4-state diagram by which we can dynamically predict whether a branch will be taken or not.